You know what? It's better than just giving it to the Federal Reserve. And you know why? That's why McCain is going to lose, ladies and gentlemen, because Barack Obama gets up and says, no, that's socialism. We can't do that. Just give all the money right directly to the banks and brokerage firms and let them move offshore with it. And I've heard liberals all over talk radio and on TV saying, isn't that great? Isn't that good? And people calling McCain a communist. Now, I'm not saying McCain would ever even do that, and that possibility is already in the banker takeover bill. They can do whatever they want. The point is that the public is so under mind control, at least those that support Obama, that they're saying, oh, no, I just want to have my house taken. I don't want to get to stay in my house. Ha! I mean, these people are ready for anything. Exactly what Webster Tarpley said. They will go along with anything as long as a black face is on it. Because that's all that matters to bleeding heart liberals and minorities and folks is that, oh, it's the time of the minorities. That's what they're saying on CNN. Oh, white America can't handle a black face. White America can't handle a brown face. White America's scared. Oh, my gosh. Like Barack Obama's going to run anything. All he's going to do is be a shill and a front to pacify the public. Period. But you like being suckers, don't you? Republicans love being suckers for George Bush. Democrats love being suckers for Bill Clinton. And you're going to love getting taken to the cleaners by Barack Obama. He can run the martial law. Well, it's all right. He's a liberal. You know, his daddy was black. Yeah, he hangs out with the PLO. He's the kind of guy we can... And the weatherman. That's all a CIA front. Those foundations run all that. He's a very dangerous man. But only because he's got troops in the streets who will support the government and do what it says during this time of martial law. Hey, people are getting mowed down in the cities because their welfare checks won't buy squat because of hyperinflation. By the way, what is it the public can't understand about the real economy is contracting and you're losing your jobs and getting paid less while we have inflation? The financial shows are either saying we're having a horrible liquidation or depression of assets, and then they'll argue and say there's no real inflation. Of course you're going to have hyper-stag-inflation. Say it again. Hyper-stag-inflation. Never before seen, the worst possible scenario. The real economy is being liquidated, and the globalists have an endless pool of liquidity they created on our backs. So we not only get to have our real economy bankrupted and consolidated so they can buy the market up and every other company cheap and the wreckage of those companies, but we get to pay for it in dollar devaluation and later in taxes. They're going to come to you and say, oh, by the way, we don't even need warrants. We don't even need to have proper investigations. We're just going to take what you got. That's the powers the IRS has. They've been given new powers in this banker takeover bill. And they're going to grab anybody who did save and anybody who did work in the economy without going into debt, the hard-working people, and they're going to take what you got. And they're going to have a SWAT team drop by, and that's who they're going to kill. You try to fight for that farm or ranch or business, they're going to send by a bunch of steroid-head, low-grade moron cops, and if you fight back, they're going to gun you down. That's how it works. So, by the way, I'm not saying that for effect. You got that, Jack? A lot of you that have served this system and think it's cute and funny and don't know that 9/11's an inside job. And the thing is, the cops are going to have their mamas and their cousins losing their houses, and the cops are going to be losing their houses too. They're going to be moving into hovels. And a lot of them are going to quit and leave. The good cops are going to leave. They don't care. They're already hiring felons and aggravated felons and criminals and illegal aliens in police forces and the military. Oh, you didn't know that? So, see, that's how evil works. It's even better. Then all the good cops get out. Even more evil come in. We got a tough road ahead of us. I want to play this clip. This is Rogers. Global bankers have unleashed inflationary holocaust. Key story from PrisonPlanet.com. Legendary investor Jim Rogers warned in CNBC interview this morning that global central banks are creating an environment of inflationary holocaust by their ceaseless overprinting of currency, a measure that isn't even successful in stabilizing the stock market. It isn't meant to. It's able to bolster their corporate takeover. They cut off our money supply. It's a military op. They take out the people's money supply. They cut that off, and then they turn the interest rates down to nothing for themselves, and then just hand themselves all this free liquidity. I mean, the heads of the banks sit as government officials, handing it directly to themselves, directly into their own accounts. It's military. They've blown out our supply depot while stealing our supplies and oversupplying themselves. This is a heartless, brutal, systematic, incredibly wicked and powerful attack. Precision. And for those that haven't read all the government documents and private think tank documents that because you can't imagine anyone having precision, how did I predict everything that's now happening with total precision myself? Folks, because I read what they said they were going to do. It wasn't hard. It's like getting the TV guide out and saying, 24 is going to be on Fox at 8 o'clock tonight. My wife doesn't say, oh, my God, honey, you're psychic. It came on at 8 o'clock tonight. Or whatever time that brainwashing program comes on. No, I read the TV guide. It's like knowing the sun rises at 7 a.m. right now. I can pull up sunrise. Hey, the sun's coming up at 7 a.m. today. That'll be the crack of dawn. Or 6:45 or whatever it is. People are like, how did you know? Because they told us. Well, it's not hard. That's what's crazy. The bastards said they put fluoride in there to brain damage us, and they've done it. Are you mad out there they brain damaged us? Are you mad your child's got autism because they did it by design? Got the documents in the 20s when they cooked that up. You think you're safe? You think any of us are safe with these people running things that funded Hitler, Stalin, and Mao? You think it's going to get better? They're going into a bloodletting cycle. You understand? This is military. This is cold-blooded. This is hardcore. And you better grow up out there and stop being little children. I'm not risking my life to lose this thing. We can win this thing. History shows. Common sense is a fact. We know. But it's going to take busting our butts to discredit these people, to expose these people, to say no, and to educate the rest of the lemmings who are finally starting to listen. Go ahead and play Jim Rogers on CNBC, and the reporter can't even understand that you can have a depression of prices and markets while you have inflation. What is it you don't understand? Here it is.
I happen to agree with you. I find it outrageous that anybody has to step in and bail out a bunch of 29-year-olds driving Maseratis. What about all the people in countries that minded their manners, saved their money, didn't get overextended, and now all of a sudden they're being asked to bail out a bunch of guys on Wall Street who were incompetent at best and some of them crooks? I find it outrageous. But by the way, even if it's not outrageous, the way to solve this problem is to let people go bankrupt. All of this pumping money into the system is not going to save it. You see what the market is saying. The market says, we don't buy that. Let people go bankrupt, then you will hit bottom, and then you will start over. The people who are sound will take over the assets from the people who are unsound, and we will start over. This is the way the world has worked for a few thousand years.
Yeah, but Jim, we do want an orderly restructuring of the financial economy. We don't actually want to throw lots of people out of jobs because we have a liquidity problem in the global economy at this stage. And that's the issue here, isn't it? We don't want to go back to Depression-era economics just because we cannot manage an orderly deleveraging of the financial economy.
Jeff, we had the worst excesses we've had in the credit markets in world history. You think we just wake up one morning and say, oh, well, we had a horrible, horrible period of excess, and now everything's okay, we're just going to ignore that? We're going to have to take some pain. Jeff, never before in world history were people able to buy houses with no money down. Many people bought 4 or 5 houses with no money down and no job. And then they did it with cars and student loans and credit card loans. You think we just say, well, that's too bad, we're going to start over, nobody loses his job? Jeff,
you should know that Jim Rogers is the top minion, himself a billionaire, of George Soros. And so, again, he's blaming it on young guys with Maseratis. They're the low-level crime operators. And he's blaming it on the public, getting 4 or 5 houses, a small percentage that were flipping them doing that, buying into the craze. He's selling that it's mismanagement that did all of this. No, this is a coordinated strike. Back to it.
Jeff, be realistic.
Jim, what do we need from our G7 leaders this weekend?
Well, what they need to do is, go down to the bar and have a beer and leave the rest of us alone. Let the people who are sound succeed and let the other people fail. And Jeff, what I'm afraid of is they're going to keep doing what they've been doing, which the market hates. You can see the market hates it because this is going to unleash rampant inflation around the world, rampant confusion in the currency markets, and you're going to have currencies gyrating all over the world. Bond markets are going to start to collapse, and then we're going to have a real problem. And that's why the stock market understands this. They're unleashing a inflationary holocaust because they don't know what else to do, and they're making mistakes.
All right, and if I can just bring it back to